Hi, good morning, St. David's. It's good to see you this morning. I'm sorry for running a couple minutes late. I came outside, got all set up, and then realized it's cold, and I had to go in and get some socks. I have a new microphone that I'm using today. It looks like it may be a little loud, so I'm going to turn that down real quick. See if this works better and better. You may have to bear with me for a moment while I set up a filter of some sort. See if that works better. That might be a little bit better. Good. Okay. I hope anyway. So good morning. It's been quite a week at St. David's. Challenging in a number of different ways, filled with more than a week's worth of grief and chaos and loss. A staff and many other committed souls that are just sort of overwhelmed and doing their best to support one another. And that's not uncommon in the life of any community that's committed to giving itself to one another. But it's worth pointing out when it does happen. It's beautiful ministry. Ministry's been the focus of the week anyway. The focus of our Growing Together campaign, a week in which we have been remembering all of the ways that St. David's has grown together in the ministries of the church through a pandemic, and a week in which we're beginning to dream about what might be next. There have been ministries that have grown and adapted through the last 18 months or so, and I want to first just celebrate that with you. You've watched, and I've watched as well from a distance, your ministries grow and learn how to leverage technology, reaching out with online Bible studies and with small groups and live streaming worship services and pre-recording worship services with incredible editing and all of that digitized ministry, alongside plenty of ministries that found ways in human-to-human analog ways to still get together and offer pastoral care and fellowship and prayer. It's been a job well done. Job well done, St. David's. It reminds me of that definition of resilience that we've talked about on these Saturday morning reflections before, that resilience is really that combination of elasticity and buoyancy that guarantees that you'll return to your shape when you've been stretched, and you'll return to the surface even after you have been pressed down. And haven't you done that? Of course, there's still work to do. I'm a bit of a fan of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, and I'm reminded of this scene where all these dwarves and the protagonist are down in these long abandoned mines, and there's a forge that needs to be restarted, and they're being chased by a dragon, and they use the flames of the dragon to get the furnaces moving, and then they have to run around and restart and pull all the levers and restart all of these forges, even while the dragon is still there, still in chase. Seems like an apt analogy of sorts. We're restarting, and every couple of months it seems like we're pulling another lever and restarting again, and the dragon's still chasing us around. We can feel that hot, fiery breath, but we continue to pull those levers. The gears keep on moving. We are in another one of those seasons right now. Committed to sharing good news, right? We can share the good news that the transmission rates in our area have continued to decline and precipitously decline over the last, several weeks now. And probably by next week, our 7-day moving average of transmission in our area should be low enough that the CDC guidelines will be relaxed in most instances in our area, and we can pull on a few more of those levers. And I'm excited about that. I'm really, really excited about that. I'm weary from the journey that we've been on, especially through the Delta variant. And I'm wary of the potential for another curveball to be thrown our way. But in the meantime, with faith and with a certain level of boldness, we'll just keep pushing on and keep pulling levers. And so one of the things that I want to name that I'm really excited about is the return of our Eucharistic ministers to our services on Sundays. It's still the case that in the Diocese of Atlanta we can't administer what's called the common cup or chalice in such a way that it matches up with what we've done in the past. But working with Bruce Thomas, the leader of that group, what we're going to do is have a Eucharistic minister attending the altar rail, walking alongside the clergy at the altar rail, and the clergy will be able to dip the bread of communion into the chalice and then hand it to each individual that wants to receive bread, and that way we will once again have both the bread and wine of communion in our services, and I'm excited about that. It's resilient, right? It's still returning to its old shape, but it's getting closer and closer, and it's great ministry. It's great ministry like the many other ministries of this church, and I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for the way that this church has been and will be committed to fellowship and the breaking of bread and the prayers as we promise that we will do in our baptismal covenant. And these are fundamentals of our faith together, and it's great ministry that you all have been doing in these areas. I'm thankful for your ministry. I'm thankful for your resilience. And I ask that you imagine with me what might be next. If we continue to grow together, as we grow together in 2022, what might the year ahead hold for us? What might the ministry that we do together look like? What is that extension of our love and God's love for us going to mean for us as we pursue it with our neighbors in the pew and those that God has called into our common life? Give that some thought, and we'll talk more about it next week. I've got a few ideas that are part of my hope for 2022, and I look forward to sharing that with you next week. God bless you today. I ask that you keep the Wagner family in your prayers. We'll have our funeral today for Jack Wagner at 2 o'clock, and if you can't make it to that funeral, please do hold them in your prayers. I'll see many of you online or in person tomorrow for our church services, and I look forward to being with you in whatever way I can in the coming week. God bless you, and go now and be a blessing to others. Bye now.